I'm Drew, and I retired at 52, but I'm keeping busy. This week, I'm taking some table parts that I found on the side of the street. I'm going to try to turn them into Christmas treasures. Watching this scene, I thought it also could be some kind of Tai Chi ritual that I'm demonstrating.
So before we get to the Christmas projects, I want to give you a quick update on last week's projects. I've painted the garage, and let me take you up and show you the fire pit. Painted that 4x6 black. And then so I pulled the mulch downhill away from the fire pit, added some sand, added some stone, and hopefully it's not a fire hazard anymore.
So here's the pile of stuff I found on the street. My daughter claims that she was laughing at the dog and not at my difficulty in breaking the legs of the table off. Jasper looks terrified, but I promise he was not injured in this scene. It would have made sense to hand the leash to my daughter, though. I've got that stuff to my basement on the bandsaw now, cutting it into manageable chunks.
Little brass foot on those almost looks like a planter if it was like life size and standing on the ground there, so that gives me some options. But I got two pieces with the brass feet on them, and then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decent sized chunks there. That old hardware is kind of cool looking. I don't know if I've got any ideas for that. And then these 3 pieces here, they've got some kind of solid wood underneath, and then they've got a veneer on the outside, and then they've got this cool inlaid banding that's on them. So I'm not really sure about what to do with those, but I've got some pretty obvious wood turning options for Christmas ornaments with these pieces. By the way, if you go look up like wood blanks online, it'd be pretty expensive to buy these. I'll have to look that up. I don't know the prices because I don't ever buy it in that way. But let's get over to the wood lathe. So this is the wood lathe that I inherited from my grandfather like over 20 years ago. Sat in my basement unused for a long time. And during COVID, when everybody got bored, I came down here and figured out how to use it. So I've never had any kind of lessons. Do not consider myself an expert, and really not trying to teach you how to use a lathe. There's a lot better people to do that, and they've got some really good videos online. I've got on this side jaws to clamp it in, and then I got tailstock support over here. I've got it set on the lowest speed. On this lathe you have to switch belts in order to change the speed, so I got the gear ratio set so it's the slowest speed possible.
So the lathe is spinning slow, but I've got the time-lapse sped up 5x right here. Beginning, you just need to knock off all the corners and get the whole thing so it's round. You may be able to guess what I'm building in a couple seconds, but I'm starting to form out the base of the snowman here. And then now I'm trying to round out the head of the snowman. It's the brim of his hat I just made. Now I'm making the rest of the top hat on top of the snowman. Doing some sanding. Sorry about my shoulder in the way. Back to regular speed now. I'm cutting the snowman loose. This can be tricky and it can go flying if you do it wrong. Looks like I got lucky this time.
So I've got one of the legs that has the brass foot on it mounted up. The snowman was not a creative idea. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do what I'm doing here, so I don't know. I feel like it could be like a bush or something up here, and that looks like a plant stand at the bottom, so we'll see how it goes.
Once I started turning, it seemed obvious it was going to be a Christmas tree. I don't intend to make a video here on how to use the wood lathe, but I do want to mention some safety. You really ought to be wearing a face mask while doing this kind of work. You ought to have something that protects your lungs from the dust it's created. They call it a catch, but if you use the tool wrong, it can like stall the wood or knock it loose, and if you do it wrong, like stuff can fly out of there at high speeds and can be kind of a violent reaction. This piece is pretty skinny, so that's a little bit less dramatic, but on something like a wider bowl it can be a pretty big deal if you touch the tool to the wood wrong.
That might be as close as I can get it. I might go back with like a pocket knife or woodland knife or something afterwards and clean a little bit of that wood out of there. But it's tough to do when that thing's spinning. I'm also was thinking about some kind of star on top of it, but I'm not really sure how to get that formed. And if it's just a ball up there, I don't know how good it's going to look. So I think I'm just going to cut this off to a pointy end now and call it a day. So I got all that off of there, and I realized I got kind of lucky. I didn't really understand how this little brass foot was mounted onto the wooden leg, but there's a tube that goes up there, and so part of the wooden leg was drilled out, and I was slid up inside of it, and I realized that, I don't know if you can see the shiny metal there, but I had just uncovered a metal bar that's going up through the middle of that piece of wood. And I don't think my tools dug into it any, but I just uncovered it. So anyway, I'm going to try to get a little bit of this wood off of here with some carving tools, and that'll be my little Christmas tree.
It's one of the thicker chunks of wood in the table leg that I had. I'm just going to make a kind of freeform shape, and in the end I'll be able to hook like an eyelet to it and then hang it from the Christmas tree. Got the lathe spinning a little faster here, but this is also 5x speed that the camera is showing you. I'm always a little nervous when I pull the tailstock away. The only thing holding it right now is the chuck, and you don't want that thing to fly loose. And this piece is ready for some finish or paint. So here's what I ended up with. I've got 2 of the trees in the brass stands, 3 snowmen. Not sure if this is a tree or a poop emoji. And I've got 2 ornaments that I can hang from the Christmas tree. So I'm trying to do this project without spending any money on it. I did break down and spend $2 on some paint brushes in the discount school section at Kroger yesterday. My paints are kind of landscape colors, not really the best Christmas reds and Christmas greens, but I'm getting it done the best I can with what I've got. Once these are dry, I'm going to hit it with a coat of spray clear high gloss lacquer. And I'm not really sure what kind of wood this is. I was thinking it was cherry when I started, but a little bit of that lacquer on it and it is very, very dark. It's time for lacquer. Here's the final for the snowmen and trees. That one tree still kind of looked like the poop emoji to me. So I only painted one side so I would have options. And here's those hanging ornaments. Thanks for watching. Come back next week to see what Drew's up to.